Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. As the Washington Commanders prepare to close out their season with a Week 18 matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, head coach Dan Quinn has revealed that his team will be approaching this game with a mindset that might surprise some fans and analysts alike. For most teams in the league, a final game like this could be an opportunity to rest key veterans, protect players from injury, and begin turning the page toward the offseason. However, Quinn has made it abundantly clear that for the Commanders, there is no intention of hitting the brakes. Every starter who is healthy and able to play will be on the field, and the message is simple: this game still matters. While the Eagles may be juggling playoff seeding and possibly resting a few of their own, the Commanders are approaching this matchup with a combination of competitiveness, evaluation, and a desire to build momentum for the next chapter. For a team that has had its fair share of ups and downs throughout the season, Quinn's philosophy is rooted in accountability and giving the players every opportunity to finish strong, while also assessing who will be a part of the future core moving forward. Quinn's comments about his intentions to play all starters who can take the field may sound straightforward, but the implications are worth unpacking. The Commanders' roster is in a transitional phase, and one of the biggest challenges this offseason will be figuring out which young players are ready to take on more responsibility and which veterans still bring value to the locker room. By choosing to play all healthy starters, Quinn is signaling that he is prioritizing team culture and a competitive mindset, even in a game where some might consider the stakes lower. It hasn't come up with us. It's not something we're considering, Quinn said in a recent press conference when asked about the possibility of resting players. He emphasized that health is always a factor, but for those who are fit to play, they will see the field. This approach underscores a philosophy of consistency and accountability, reinforcing that the Commanders' coaching staff expects every player to compete at the highest level regardless of the circumstances. This mindset could be seen as admirable, yet also raises questions about the development of younger players who have been waiting for meaningful in-game opportunities. Speaking of young players, the season finale is arguably one of the most critical opportunities for the Commanders to evaluate their talent beyond the veterans. Players like Quan Martin and Mike Sainristil have shown flashes of potential at different points during the season, but have struggled to maintain consistency. This game represents a chance for them, and others like Johnny Newton and Jordan McGee, to demonstrate growth and prove that they could be foundational pieces moving forward. Last week, Newton turned in his best performance of the season, and it would make strategic sense to build on that momentum by giving him additional snaps. Similarly, McGee deserves a chance to showcase his capabilities in a larger role rather than being limited behind a veteran like Bobby Wagner. The offseason is going to be critical for roster construction, and the coaching staff needs to gather as much evaluative data as possible from live action rather than practice reps alone. This makes the Week 18 matchup much more than a tune-up game. It is a litmus test for the team's future. Of course, there are some complicating factors when it comes to playing veterans. Injuries remain a concern for players like Laramie Tunsil and Marcus Mariota, and their availability could shift the dynamic of the game significantly. If they're unable to play, it opens up additional opportunities for younger players to take on meaningful roles and gain valuable experience. However, if the veterans are healthy and on the field, there's a risk that younger players could see limited snaps, which would defeat one of the key purposes of this final contest. It is a delicate balancing act, and Quinn's approach will need to be nuanced to maximize both competitiveness and player development. While the public often focuses on the immediate results of a game, the internal goal for a team like the Commanders might be just as much about growth and evaluation as it is about the scoreboard. In this context, decisions about playing time and situational rotations become critically important. One of the main concerns surrounding the Commanders is the regression seen in some of their younger players over the course of the season. Quan Martin and Mike Sainristil, for instance, have had promising moments but have struggled to consistently make an impact. Conversely, players like Johnny Newton have shown tangible improvement and could be key contributors in the near future. The Week 18 game is the ideal opportunity to determine who has the capacity to step up in a more permanent role next season. It will be a missed opportunity to prioritize veterans who may not even be on the roster next year over these younger players who are fighting for their place. In addition, players like Kane Medrano and Ricky Barber deserve a chance to display their abilities in live game situations, as practice alone cannot replicate the pressure and pace of a full NFL contest. This game should be viewed as an audition for the future, and the coaching staff must resist the temptation to default to familiarity at the expense of long-term development. Finally, the Week 18 matchup against the Eagles is a microcosm of the challenges and opportunities facing the Commanders as they head into the offseason. On one hand, it offers a chance to end the season with a win and build momentum. On the other, it provides a critical opportunity to assess talent and make informed decisions about roster construction. The stakes are not just about the game itself, but about identifying which players can contribute at a high level moving forward. For young players looking to make an impression, this is their moment. For veterans, it is an opportunity to set the tone and mentor the next generation. Quinn's decision to play all healthy starters reflects a commitment to both competitiveness and evaluation, and the results of this approach will reverberate long after the final whistle blows. In a season defined by highs and lows, this final game may hold the key to defining the direction of the Commanders in the months and years ahead, making it far more consequential than many might assume. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Breaking news is swirling in the NFL world, and it seems like the Washington Commanders are once again making waves in the offseason, this time with a potential move that could redefine the identity of their defense for years to come. According to sources close to ESPN, Jaelan Phillips, the explosive pass rusher who has made headlines with his game-changing athleticism and relentless motor, is reportedly the name that the Commanders have in their crosshairs to lead a brand-new defensive scheme. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's set the stage. Nothing is officially confirmed, and this is exactly the kind of rumor that could either turn into a blockbuster reality or just another off-season whisper, but the details emerging are too juicy to ignore. Phillips, known for his unique combination of speed, power, and agility, could be the missing puzzle piece in a defense that has been criticized for inconsistency and lack of a true game-changer at the edge. Imagine a unit where the quarterback never feels comfortable in the pocket because there is a constant threat looming. Someone who can disrupt timing, change the dynamics of offensive planning, and energize the entire locker room. That is the kind of impact Jaelan Phillips is rumored to be capable of bringing to Washington. Sources suggest that the Commanders' front office has been in advanced discussions with Phillips representatives, exploring not just the contractual details, but also the vision for the defensive identity they hope to build. This is a team that has struggled to find a balance between veteran leadership and young, explosive talent, and Phillips seems to check both boxes. His background shows resilience, adaptability, and a hunger to dominate games, not just accumulate stats. Insiders hint that the Commanders see Phillips not only as a cornerstone for their pass rush, but also as a cultural figure, someone who could inspire the locker room and elevate the play of those around him. There's talk that he could become the face of a defensive renaissance, the kind of player who turns a solid defense into a feared, headline-grabbing unit that opponents dread facing week after week. The potential for this move to send shockwaves across the league is enormous, especially when considering the kind of attention Washington has been garnering in recent off-seasons for strategic gambles and bold acquisitions. What makes Phillips particularly intriguing is the way he complements existing pieces on the roster. Analysts have pointed out that his skill set could pair seamlessly with the team's defensive tackles, creating pressure from multiple angles and forcing offenses to adjust their entire blocking schemes. The hypothetical scenario here is electrifying. Phillips on the edge, capable of bending around the line with a burst of speed that can beat almost any tackle, combined with a stable interior that can collapse the pocket, could result in a defense that is as versatile as it is intimidating. Even without official confirmation, the rumor alone has sparked debates across social media and among fans, with predictions ranging from immediate dominance to cautious optimism, depending on how the rest of the defensive puzzle falls into place. And let's not forget the psychological impact. Signing a player of Phillips' caliber sends a loud message to the rest of the league, signaling that the Commanders are serious about reinventing themselves and challenging the status quo in a conference that is growing increasingly competitive. The financial and strategic implications are also worth pondering. If the Commanders are indeed moving to acquire Phillips, it reflects a willingness to invest heavily in defensive talent, which is often a sign of long-term planning. Sources hint at a potential contract structure that balances immediate impact with future flexibility, a move that could allow the team to continue building around core pieces without hampering roster options in subsequent years. There's also speculation that bringing Phillips into the fold could influence draft strategies, free agency decisions, and even coaching approaches, as the defensive coordinator might be given new latitude to design schemes around a player of his caliber. It's rare to see a single acquisition carry this much potential ripple effect. But in the case of Phillips, the hype and the speculation suggest that the Commanders might be betting on more than just athleticism. They could be aiming for an identity shift that reverberates for seasons to come. Fans and commentators alike are already imagining what a Phillips-led defense would look like on game day. Picture him lined up, ready to explode off the edge, while the secondary benefits from his ability to pressure quarterbacks and disrupt timing. Imagine the narrative of young defenders learning from his technique, veterans feeding off his energy, and the crowd electrified by a defense that feels alive in every snap. Even in speculation, it's easy to see why ESPN sources describe him as the potential leader of the new defensive era. Some analysts caution that the pressure on Phillips could be immense. Expectations might skyrocket before he even steps on a field. But if anyone has the tools, the drive, and the mentality to meet those expectations, it's him. The conversations around this rumor are not just about talent. They're about transformation, about the possibility of a franchise redefining its image and reestablishing itself as a defensive powerhouse. Of course, there are still questions. How would Phillips adapt to the Commanders' existing system? What adjustments would be necessary to maximize his impact? How do salary cap considerations influence the likelihood of a completed deal? Insiders remain tight-lipped on many of these details, fueling further speculation. Yet, the narrative is compelling enough that even casual observers of the league are paying attention. Rumors like these have a way of shifting momentum in the offseason, and this particular story has all the hallmarks of one that could dominate headlines for weeks. Whether or not it culminates in a signed contract, the idea of Jaelan Phillips leading a defensive transformation for Washington is sparking discussions in living rooms, sports bars, and online forums across the country. Analysts, former players, and fans are weighing in, creating a ripple effect that blurs the line between rumor and expectation. In the end, what makes this potential acquisition so tantalizing is the combination of possibility and uncertainty. Jaelan Phillips represents explosive talent, a game-changing skill set, and a leadership potential that could redefine the Commanders' defense. The rumors reported by ESPN give us a glimpse into what might be one of the boldest offseason moves in recent memory, one that could have long-term reign of narrative that NFL fans live for. Uncertain, electrifying, and full of potential drama. This is the kind of rumor that makes the offseason feel almost as exciting as the regular season itself. And for the Commanders, it might just signal the dawn of a new, fearsome era on the defensive side of the ball. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.